Show! With me, Joe! This is the show where I read an article a day to keep my stupid away. You learn something, I learn something, we grow together. Today's episode is all about ghosts. And I ain't talking about the scary kind. I'm talking about the ones that just stop texting you out of nowhere. It'll happen something like this. You match someone on Tinder. They're super beautiful. You start texting back and forth. They flirt a little bit and joke about how they want to steal a duck in the park with you and name it Phil. Phil the duck. So you go meet them for coffee. Yeah, and you bring a net just in case you want to steal that duck. You're flirting back and forth. It's going super well. You have a coffee. It's black. It's delicious. You're at a cafe. You decide to go for a walk in the park. You jokingly see a duck. Everything seems to be going well. You go back home. And then you never hear from them again. That's called ghosting. It's very common in modern dating to have this happen to you. I've had it happen to me. Also, I'm going to be a man right now and admit I've also ghosted people. It's happened. I've done it before. I'm not proud of it, but it's happened. I've done it before. So, this article is entitled Simple Things to Text Instead of Ghosting Somebody. I'm going to give you some ammunition so that you never have to ghost somebody again and so you can continue being a decent human being. I've become an authority on ghosting. Woo. In the past 3 months, I've been ghosted 4 times. That's almost a 1-to-1 ratio per month to ghost. She must be living in a haunted house. How maddening it feels. How maddening it feels is directly correlated to how close I've let myself become to my ghoster. At the essence of why we're so bothered by ghosting is that it takes very little effort to not ghost someone. People still choose to do it. It's not difficult to communicate with someone, but it requires acknowledgement that what you say might hurt their feelings. But guess what? Ignoring their entire existence is even more hurtful. Thankfully, I've had a number of men communicate to me. Wait. Thankfully, she's had a number of men communicate to her why they would not be moving forward in a way that leads to closure and finality. I was always grateful for that. She was. She might have been a little disappointed, but it passed much more quickly when they did something nice like not ghost me. So as someone who's been ghosted enough times to make A Christmas Carol seem like an average Thursday night, and Joe played Tiny Tim in middle school, Mr. Scrooge, please, my family's hungry. Actor of the Year award right here. I'm going to tell you everything someone could have said to me instead of turning into vapor. Poof. These are designed to bring finality, so if your intention is to get out as quickly as possible, you can do just that. Scenario 1. You're just not that into them. We'll start with the big one. This reeks of rejection, but a no thank you text is humane. If you get done with a date and didn't feel it, just tell them nicely. I went out with a guy who was interesting enough for me to consider a second date. Apparently, I was the only one that felt that way. I texted him to say thank you for the date, and he sent back a very nice text and told me he wasn't feeling it. Something like this. Hey, thanks for meeting me last night. I'm sorry that I just didn't feel the spark I was hoping for. I wish you the best of luck. After this, it's done. It's been ended. Even after not ghosting them, people may continue the conversation or throw some verbal attacks that follow the rejection. It sucks. If you fear this or it starts to happen, block the number. You've done your part. Second scenario, you're too busy. This legitimately happens. However, no one is too busy to take 20 seconds out of their day to communicate just that. If not, you're a coward. You can shut down the conversation and then get back to what's important. It sounds something like this. I have a number of things that came up in my life that need attention. I can't put the time and energy into this that would be fair to you. I wish you the best of luck. Notice a familiar ending? Smells like closure. 'Cause it was. It's a fly and be free statement. Of course, if you're interested in seeing someone after the storm passes, you can say just that. Just don't lead them on. This one I'm actually guilty of because I work way too much and I work way too hard. And so I often feel guilty for not putting enough time into my friendships and romantic relationships. Third scenario. You've met someone else. Hey, you like my content? I know you like my content. Hit that subscribe button and mash that bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video, which is currently daily. Thank you. This one sucks. It's happened to her. Being told you were cut from the team is horrible. Coach, just one more play. Just one more play, coach. It's easy for someone to feel like they weren't good enough. It's better than seeing you with someone else 3 days later. Everyone has to know, oh, actually this happened to me recently. I was hanging out with this girl. She came over. Well, not recently. It was like last year. Regardless, came over. We didn't kiss. We didn't do anything. She gave me a kiss on the cheek when she left. I actually, ladies, asked permission before I even kissed her the first time. She said no, she didn't want to kiss me, that she felt too uncomfortable. I said, that's fine. And then we just continued watching Netflix. And then she left a couple hours later. Everything was cool. Next day, I saw her walking down the street hand in hand with a dude. Wah, wah. So everyone has to know that people are playing the field unless there's a discussion of closing that relationship and going exclusive. Until that happens, you meeting someone else should not shock anyone. This text, the "You've met someone else" text, sounds something like this. As a big part of dating is meeting different people, I've enjoyed meeting you, but I've met someone else I'm more compatible with. You're a great person. I'm sorry and wish you the best. There's nothing wrong with saying something nice. It's kind, but not necessary. That's up to you. I still think you should be a gentleman or gentlelady and give them a compliment. You've communicated that they're a great person, just not your person. Again, you do not owe them any explanation of why you feel that way. And it reminds me of a situation that I had actually earlier this year. I went out on one date with somebody. We'd been flirting on Instagram, ended up meeting, and then when we met, she could not get over the fact that I work a lot. She was making me feel guilty for working, and as work is a big part of my personality and who I am, I could not see this continuing, and so I felt like she was probably better off with someone else that wasn't such a workaholic. So I sent this, and it's translated from German, so it's going to sound a little weird, but it was pretty much this. Anyway, it was nice to meet you. You are sweet and lovely and have a nice smile, but I think you'd be better off with someone else. Stay healthy and don't hesitate to reach out your hand if you want to chat about anything. Reach out your hand. I don't know why I translated it that way, but don't hesitate to reach out if you want to chat about anything. She wanted to continue improving her English, so I figured I would extend an olive branch in case she wanted to just continue practicing her English. At first, she started fighting back about it, like, what? What are you talking about? Why would you feel, why do you think that? And then she finally got it, I think, and now I still talk to her every now and then. We're still acquaintances, still helping her with her English, but I hope that she found someone else nice that fit her personality a little bit better than I did. Last scenario, you've been freaked out. Everyone puts their best face forward, and it may not be until the third date that you realize someone is possessive, drinks too much, or whatever it is that throws up a red flag. Trust yourself enough to honor it. Expressing that you've lost interest can be done tactfully and honestly. It sounds something like this. I appreciate your time, but after a few dates, I don't think we're going to be as compatible as I thought we were. Thanks again, and I wish you the best of luck. You don't have to get to the fact that their baby talk annoys you. Oh, is that tasty? Or the fact that their house is nasty as hell and makes your teeth itch. It's so dirty in here. That said, there will always be some reasons for ceasing all communication without notice, but they are few and far between. And let me say, they rhyme with reth. As in, your death. If there is a threat of safety, let someone know about it and don't communicate back. Just walk away and block the number. Taking care of your physical and mental well-being is a priority not just for women, but also men, although I think this is directed more towards women. Beyond that, just be a decent person. Part of being mature enough to date is understanding that you may need to say some things that you don't want to say or that might hurt the other person. If you don't have the maturity to communicate, you may want to rethink dating until you have that confidence. No one would fault you for that, but people are not playthings. Treat them with consideration. Because if you don't treat them with consideration, me and my friends are going to come find you and we're going to ghost bust you. So that's been today's Joe Show. If you like my content, don't ghost me. Hit that subscribe button to help me grow this channel. You can follow me on Instagram at @ajoeshow. If you read a cool article, send it to hijoeshow@gmail.com. Until then, read something good. This has been a Joe Show. I love you.